Hey there, how's it? Hey there, hello, and welcome to my study. My name is Justin Spencer Young, and my business is fastforwardbusiness.net. If you head on over there, you can find some awesome finance content. So, my claim to fame is I call myself a valuologist. It's a very sophisticated name because I'm sophisticated. You can see, look how sophisticated my office is. So, really, I teach finance, and I want to share with you a little piece that I think just changed everything for me when I understood how debt is not this big, ugly, complicated, stigma-filled thing. Oh, there was my screensaver. How about that? Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about debt. I think debt is the same as hiring a car from your local car hire service. Who would that be? Let's use a company like Avis, for example. I think debt and a car hire, well, let's think about it, okay? When you head over to Avis, let's say you at the airport and you want to hire a car, they ask you for some key information. They want to, well, first of all, you've got to give them your credit card so they can block off the payment and secure their payment. You've got to give them your driver's license that can prove that you know how to operate this equipment. Okay, that's important. All right, and they want to know where you live and all those sorts of things in the event that you don't bring the car back and they want to come and find it. All right, so that's what they ask you for. Now, if you think about it, you're going to pay a rate per day to use the car, and when you've finished using the car, you bring it back. All right, we all know how that works. So how about this? You want to borrow some money. You want to hire some money. Let's think of it that way, from your local bank. What do they ask you for? They ask you for some payment slips, or how much do you earn, what's your discretionary income, those sorts of things, so that they can see if you can afford to pay for the debt. You know, just like the hire company does, your credit card is so they can ensure that you pay for the car. So can you pay for the debt? Then they might want to know, well, do you have any assets to act as security for this debt? Okay, so that's important. And they ask you for your debt license. Yeah, have you got one of those, a debt license? Okay, so maybe it's not like a little license like you have in your car license in your wallet or your purse. But your debt license is your credit record, and they're going to go and check it to see, have you used debt before and do you know how to use it? But the reality is, when you borrow money from the bank, they're going to charge you an interest rate, which is an interest payment per month, and you use the money, and when you've finished using it, you bring it back. Isn't that how debt works? It's the same as hiring a car. When you've finished using it, finished paying for it, you bring it back. Now, that's the part that we often forget about in the debt, because we don't bring it back all in one go. We might bring it back over time, in little pieces. We kind of pay it back over time. For example, we bring the wheels back today, and the steering wheel, we bring it back next month, and then we'll bring the sunroof back the week later. Now, obviously, we don't do that with our car hire, but we kind of do that with our debt. We bring it back in pieces. But the principle's the same. And the challenge is here, when it comes to hiring a car as an individual, I can really only hire one car at a time because that's all I can drive. The problem is, what happens with debt is often we hire more debt than we can use that's sustainable for us. You can't do that with a car because you can't drive 4 or 5 cars at a time. But with debt, it seems as though we can. So we've got to find out then, what is the right amount that we can afford to borrow that's sustainable for us? But once we know that, it's like hire the debt from the bank, pay them for it, finished using it, give it back. And if you think of it like that, there's not so much stigma attached to using debt funding, just like there's no stigma attached to hiring a car from Avis or any other hire company. So when you reframe how you think about debt, I think the stigma goes away. Now, that's kind of in a personal capacity, because in a business, there is no stigma about debt. It's there on the balance sheet of companies. You can read it, you can see it anytime. If I were to ask you, hey, how much debt have you got? You might say, well, Justin, that's a little bit personal. You can't ask me that. But when it comes to a company, it's laid out there for everyone to see. So the stigma kind of goes away. All right. But if you think about it in a different context, maybe that might help you even in a personal finance way. So that's my little insight when it comes to debt, trying to get rid of the stigma. I hope you found that useful. Head on over to fastforwardbusiness.net and you will find out about my 5 secrets of finance, my video series. It's free. It gives you some tidbits like this. I'd love to share that with you in your inbox. See you later.